2007 when I left Afghanistan. But correcting the information that I'm not an Iranian Afghan. I was born in Afghanistan. I can still not call myself an Afghan because most of my life I lived in Australia. So I would like to say that I'm an Australian rather because of my whole identity. So when I had to leave from there and lived in Iran, Pakistan and then Indonesia, I turned 15 when I came to detention center in 2001. So, and then came out, started my life. That's how I came to Australia. We have to look at this life, whether being suffered in the places this refugee people come from, or is it stopping the boat we actually save life? The answer you all know, because if we stop the boat, we stop the hope. If we stop the hope, there is going to be, chaotic thing for the ones suffering the most are going to suffer more. When you're in a house that's caught fire, so will you stay in that house being burned down with the fire, or will you just jump out whether you will survive or may not? So if we say that you can't get out of this fire because there's money houses and the whole jungle is on fire, so you will not possibly get out. So you will still try.
Former High Court judges like Michael Kirby have for a long time argued that our signing up to international treaties gives rise to a legitimate expectation that we honour the terms of those treaties. So you would argue that that would be the case with the Refugees Convention, but it actually goes a step further with the Convention because Australia has actually directly incorporated parts of that Convention into our domestic laws.
Once you open the heart of the refugee, bring the outdoors of the world to the community, and realise that those who seek refuge seek the same dreams that we all have. They have the same loves and disappointments that we all have. They become a human. They become someone who is yearning for love, yearning for their hopes. The community heard that very clearly. The community appreciated the sense of wealth that they brought to our community by their very presence, by their joy, by the fact that a door was open to their lives and they were going to walk through that door and make something of their lives, their wishes for their children, their wishes for their mothers and fathers, their brothers, their lost friends and families in the refugee camps. They wanted for them. Once the community itself in Lismore witnessed that, the mythology of the refugee at sea, those evildoers coming to knock on our shores, very quickly went.
As a refugee, as my background, I didn't want anyone to treat me so kindly that I couldn't breathe, or or do everything for me. No, I wanted to learn. Every refugee wants to learn. I want to make a new home. I want to be able to be useful to things, contribute to the society, to the community. I want to learn new skills so you can just be their friends. You don't have to do a thing for them. Just be their friends, speak to them, guide them, and they will flourish from that. They just want a ray of hope by knowing that someone has a faith in them. That's all, because they never knew what normal life was about.
What does it cost to keep someone on Manus Island, Nauru? So I did a bit of digging on my computer and discovered that, and this is the Parliamentary Budget Office, the cost of keeping a refugee in community detention in Australia is each year $35,000 per person. That's in community detention. On Manus Island and Nauru, it is $225,000 a year. That's how your money is being spent. This way.
In the last election, I went up to people who were clearly going to vote to stop the boats. I wanted to understand their thinking, and there were pensioners who were genuinely very frightened and believed that it was the refugees that were taking all of their pension money, and that's why they were voting for the coalition. So it's a very powerful scare tactic that bears no relationship with the way the dollars are actually being spent. So that's something to be really aware of. Yeah.
What are we about? And what is the Australian ethos? Certainly what I see, what I feel, is not what we know to be Australian. And I think we need to articulate that.
Yeah.
You know, we've just got so much to give, and like, why can't we just welcome refugees? Abdul nodded and said, And he reframed it, and he said, well, you know, I don't think Australians have to give anything. He said, if you bring any refugee here, they will give Australia so much, and they have so much to offer.